It's a Tuesday. No press conference. No breaking news banner. Just a single line of text, posted by a man who spends his Sundays strapped into a race car traveling 190 miles an hour. He wasn't supposed to say anything. Nobody was. But he did, and in 11 words, he confirmed something the entire NASCAR garage had been whispering about for weeks but refusing to say out loud. Something changed on these cars. Quietly. Legally. And maybe, permanently. By the end of this video, you will look at every Toyota on that grid completely differently. Something has felt off in the garage this season, and everyone can sense it even though nobody can prove it. Out of the first 22 races of this year, one manufacturer has quietly won more races than the other two combined. That manufacturer is Toyota. 13 wins. Not spread evenly across a season of surprises, but stacked, race after race, in a pattern too consistent to be luck. The question hanging over pit road all summer has been simple: the car everyone raced against this season wasn't built to be beaten, so what changed? And speaking of things that changed, before we get into the details, if you're new here, this is NASCAR Racing World, and we break down exactly this kind of story, the stuff that never makes the official press release but decides who actually wins on Sunday. We're closing in on 500 subscribers on this channel, and every single one of you watching right now can help us get there. If you want more breakdowns like this one, hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment with your take. Your support genuinely matters in helping us keep bringing this kind of content to you. Now, back to the story. The story didn't break on ESPN. It didn't come from a press release or a team statement. It surfaced almost by accident, on a podcast. On Harvick's Happy Hour, co-host Mamba Smith became one of the first people to say the quiet part out loud, describing a small adjustment made near the nose of the car, tied directly to how much downforce that car could generate. His warning was blunt in substance, even if not quoted word for word here: if you let your rivals hang around too long without addressing an advantage, they eventually come back around and beat you with it. A small adjustment, he said. But an adjustment to what, exactly? To understand why that question mattered so much, you need to understand what a splitter actually is. It's the flat piece at the very front bottom of a NASCAR stock car, and it does one job: it manages the air slamming into the nose of the car at 190 miles an hour, converting that air into downforce that presses the car into the racetrack. A few millimeters of flex in that piece can matter more than raw horsepower, because a splitter that bends unpredictably changes how a car handles through every single corner. A bend you cannot see with your own eyes could be worth real, measurable speed on the racetrack. That's where NASCAR reporter Bob Pockrass enters the story. He was the one who finally put a name and a timeline to what had only been rumor. According to his reporting, starting at North Wilkesboro, every team was required to add small support struts to the front of the splitter, pieces engineered specifically to stop it from moving or deforming at racing speed. Pockrass himself called the impact of this change debatable, noting that Toyota remained strong at Indianapolis even after the struts were mandated. NASCAR did not announce this as a scandal or a competitive correction. They simply bolted on a fix, with no real explanation of why, until fans and drivers started asking questions themselves. That brings us to the moment this story stopped being a rumor and became something impossible to ignore. Brad Keselowski is not just a driver guessing from the outside. He sits in two chairs at once, behind the wheel of the number 6 Ford on race day, and in the owner's office at RFK Racing every other day of the week. This is someone with direct, financial, competitive skin in the outcome of this exact question. When Pockrass posted about the strut change, Keselowski replied directly, and his words are worth reading exactly as he wrote them: "This didn't really get any media play, but was a big deal BTW." Read that again. This didn't really get any media play, but was a big deal BTW. A team owner and active competitor, on the record, stating that a rule change most fans never noticed was, in his own words, a big deal. That single reply is the moment this story stopped being garage gossip and became a documented, on-the-record claim from someone with every incentive to know exactly what he was talking about. So did the fix actually work? The numbers after the struts were installed tell a complicated story. At both North Wilkesboro and Indianapolis, Toyota continued to finish at the top of the field. If the splitter change was supposed to level the playing field, the results on paper did not immediately show it. On the other side, Ford also posted strong numbers at both events, with Joey Logano turning in improved finishes that suggest the strut requirement may have helped close part of the gap. But there's a caveat that matters here. Both North Wilkesboro and Indianapolis are historically tracks where Ford has performed well regardless of any rule change, which means the sample size might be misleading everyone watching it. So which is it? Was the splitter never really the secret advantage at all, or is Toyota still this fast even after losing whatever edge it may have had? Either way, that is not good news for anyone chasing them. Keselowski's theory doesn't stop at a single bolted-on strut. He has pointed to something bigger, the idea that some races are effectively decided before the green flag ever drops, not on the racetrack, but in manufacturer boardrooms. His argument traces back to rules changes NASCAR made around 2020 and 2021, changes that had an unintended side effect. Manufacturers began quietly favoring certain teams with more resources and more technical support than others. According to Keselowski, the clearest example of this is the alliance between Joe Gibbs Racing, 2311 Racing, and now Legacy Motor Club, three Toyota-affiliated organizations that share resources and technical knowledge at a level, he says, no other manufacturer alliance is currently matching. His point, paraphrased directly from his own comments, is that he has not seen any other manufacturer collaborating at that level, and that the results on the track are exactly what you would expect from that kind of imbalance. Importantly, he has been careful to frame this as a systems issue, not a talent issue. He has specifically declined to place personal blame on drivers like Joey Logano for the gap in performance. There's a personal layer to this story too, one that goes beyond stats and rule changes. Rumors have circulated about RFK Racing and a potential move toward Dodge as early as 2028, the kind of speculation that usually signals a team is looking for an exit from a losing battle. Keselowski addressed it directly rather than letting it spin out of control. In his own words, he acknowledged that RFK Racing is currently in a lull they don't want to be in, and that fixing that problem is squarely on the team itself, not on outside circumstances. That kind of blunt admission is rare in a sport where teams usually spin bad news into something more palatable for fans and sponsors. The clock is now running. Only 4 races remain before the playoffs begin, which means whatever the strut change was supposed to fix has a shrinking window to prove itself. The struts are bolted on. The gap between Toyota and the rest of the field has not visibly closed. And nobody, not Ford, not Chevrolet, not even NASCAR itself, has publicly explained whether the fix actually worked the way it was intended to. NASCAR made its move. Toyota hasn't blinked. And the one man who said the quiet part out loud is now watching the clock, same as everyone else in that garage. So here's the question nobody in that garage will answer honestly. Was the splitter the real secret behind the most dominant manufacturer season in modern NASCAR, or is the actual answer still hiding somewhere nobody has looked yet? Drop your theory in the comments below, because this story is far from over. And if you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this one, you'll like what's coming next, so make sure you're subscribed to NASCAR Racing World, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who needs to see it. We're almost at 500 subscribers, and getting there means more of exactly this kind of coverage, every single week.